She goes, hey, I was eating Pop-Tarts and I was not eating the crust. And she's like, you have to eat that. That's the only healthy part. Hello and welcome to episode 95 of the Green Bay Outdoors podcast. My name's Kyle Green.
I'm AJ.
I'm Ryan.
We're back in the studio. Jeff's not here today.
He's got COVID breath.
He gets icky, sicky.
Go ahead.
illness.
What? Dicky. Icky, sicky, dicky.
Yeah.
That's what he's got.
He's a phlegm machine.
He could have a broken toe and he could just say COVID and people like, okay, don't come to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not us. We don't care.
no. As Ryan has COVID. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
I do think I just got over an illness.
Give me a COVID cocktail.
We just got done celebrating, and maybe this is where maybe you were the super spreader at your own wedding, your own shindig, and you took out Jeffrey at the wedding.
Yeah.
Which serves them right.
Vindictive.
Yeah, which serves them right. But we did just wrap up Ryan and Jenna's big wedding.
Yep. Got married.
Got it.
I'm a
Got it
married
done.
man. It's really weird to say I have a wife.
Yeah. Man, we went from none of us being married for 7 years to all of us being, or half of us.
In a matter of 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You and Jeff both took the tank. Now we're at 50%.
Yeah.
Now we're at 50%.
We're dwindling.
I almost didn't want to tell anyone because Ryan being our sexy Gen Z perfect hair having nice legs wearing dude. I didn't want our
Thank
female
you. I
viewership.
appreciate that.
Yeah, your head's getting bigger. The headphones are like starting to
Yeah.
bust.
Jimmy Neutron.
I just didn't know if it was gonna hurt us.
With the
female
clientele.
Thank you. Yeah. But I think
or male too. Whatever.
I'm sure there's a big drop in the graph.
yeah. Oh, for sure. I will say this about Ryan's wedding: the food was the best food I've ever had at a wedding.
It was better than I expected it to be, because Jenna and I went and did the taste testing, like where there must have been 200 couples there.
Right.
Not 200, probably 100, but 200 people total. And
That'd be 100 couples.
I guess so.
100 couples.
Yeah.
Not 200 couples.
Yeah.
100 couples.
right,
200 people.
Yep.
Because a couple is two.
Yeah.
1
1 + 1,
Yeah.
3.
So where you could go test all the food that they have the potential to serve at your wedding, and it was not as good as it was at the actual wedding. So I was really impressed once we got to actual wedding day.
What got me was
Chicken was good.
Yeah, well, the chicken was fantastic.
Lemon ricotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the shell that they had on it.
Yeah.
And
that
the
was
way,
the thing.
And what
That
I
was their
liked about
shtick.
it was they did it like I do my Chinese food, where you get the sauce on the
I
side.
hate that you're comparing my wedding to Chinese food.
Just hear me out. Where you get the sauce on the side. It's basically the same thing. And then
I'm not a fan of Chinese food, so that's the only reason I say that.
you
PF
get
Chang's
this.
is good.
You get the sauce on the side, and then it's not soggy when it gets there. And they did that with the chicken, where they had it looked like melted butter that you got to put on the chicken.
Yeah.
And that's what did it.
And then I still don't know what kind of meat that was.
Prime rib.
I didn't try it. I don't know.
It was?
That's what they said.
Because they kept saying it was a round.
They told me it was prime rib.
Okay, then that's what it was, if that's what they said.
And they cut off a slice. And the problem is when you get prime rib, a lot of places like that, I don't like where meat is like pink and gummy. Like I don't necessarily want it well done, but I don't want it gummy and chewy.
Yeah, like
And,
how Jeff likes his steaks.
Right. He's like, did you cook that? I said not to cook it.
Yeah.
And then he calls you a heathen for having used fire.
Cooked meat.
Which literally saved the human race. But yeah, okay. But he'll eat it basically raw. And in this instance, it was like cooked perfectly through. It was good food.
It was just rare enough.
They played Love Shack.
Yeah, that would have never happened, just so you know.
Well, the guy was taking nothing but requests.
What's funny, though, is he wasn't.
Yeah.
Because people were going up, and he's like,
Yeah, same with Kayla. She tried. And
He's like, no.
I sent
It
Abby.
was only whatever me and Jenna said.
we only know
I sent Abby, and when I sent her, he was like, yeah, all right.
Oh, you agreed
No,
to it
just
after
kidding.
looking at it?
Oh,
he
nice.
dropped his pen on the floor.
Yeah, that's what it was.
No, we originally, that's a completely different DJ, because our other DJ got sick and canceled the night before and blah, 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 whatever.
After meeting with you, ironically.
I never met him in person, but he seemed really cool, so we were pretty sad. And annoyed that this other DJ that showed up just did not have any clue what was going on.
Yeah.
Like none of the music, other than the first dance songs. it was not it.
Like, there's certainly, with technology the way it is now, like, as far as just pressing a button to play a song, like...
The dude didn't know what Spotify was.
That's insane.
You're a DJ and you don't know? Didn't have an account or anything. I'm like, let me sign into your phone.
Yeah.
And then we
That's
we plugged in
insane.
that way.
I don't like touching people's phones.
I didn't care.
I was
I'm like,
talking...
this has to end.
I was talking about it the other day, and Abby had someone at work that was like, "Can you sign into the app on my phone?" And she said it was like greasy and like and it made me think, like, I clean my phone 3 times a week.
I've never cleaned my phone once.
I cleaned it earlier this week.
Yeah, and people like Ryan are disgusting.
I just dip it in the water.
But yeah, it's I don't like using people's phones. It's not something I like to do.
Yeah, my girlfriend's mom had the worst case of all time, and I was just sick of looking at it, so I just bought her a new case because I was done.
What was wrong with it?
It was covered in grease and
It
just
was
wore
what?
out. Yeah, I mean, it was just like you could see the smear marks, and then
Oh my!
you know, like the brightness on the screen dwindles because it's so like faded on like the cover.
Okay, that's gross.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm done looking at this, so I just bought her a new
can
case.
see my screen. Like, it's fine.
Right.
I'm just
No,
kidding.
let's keep this the worst it can be.
No,
So.
I can't stand that. Speaking of disgusting things, so we went out and filmed a couple updates. I mean, we have not been able to do as many podcasts.
Filmed.
We have not been able to do as many podcasts as I wanted.
We've been on the road. Sue us.
Well, I was going to talk about the thing we did film. Now that you put it in quotes, you may feel like it ain't real. But we went out.
Oh, that. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about.
So we went out and filmed a Huntcast episode, and the premise behind it, we had talked about it, I think, before that it was coming, was how to find trout on small rivers using Onyx and Quiet Cat. Mm-hmm. And so it was like basically teaching people what to look for in a river and a stream, what to do with it. And you can find this video on Carbon TV or our YouTube channel right now. It's one of our most recent. It's Huntcast episode 8, I believe, 7 or 8.
7.
7? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you go on there and check that out on our YouTube channel, that's what that video is. But before that, we had actually gone out, and this tells you how much we haven't been recording podcasts lately. But I had gone out fishing with Abby, and she forgot to bring, even though I gave a list, leggings. Like long. So like when I trout fish, I like to wear a bathing suit, leggings, and high socks that go over the leggings, and then water shoes because I like to be nimble. I like to be able to maneuver around and stuff and climb and so on and so forth. Or you have to wear waders, and it was pretty warm when we went. Still, I think it was in the 80s, so I didn't want to wear waders and be sweating and stuff. And it's just I like being in the water. But if you don't have leggings on, there's leeches in the water, especially in the stiller parts, and you won't realize it apparently. So we went fished, and while we were out there, I got bit, but I didn't realize because she forgot her leggings. I let her wear mine because the sacrifice had to be made, and I just wore regular fishing pants. And of course, it gets they're only so long, and leech got right up there and bit me. And first time I had been bit since I was a kid, but I didn't even notice it. He must have been out there, got his fill of KJ juice or KG juice. I don't know why I didn't know my own initials, but KG juice, KGB, the KG blood.
That's what I thought you were referencing.
KG.
Yeah, KG blood. And then he was on his way. Well, I got back to the cabin, and I looked at the back of my pants, and it's just all blood. Like, my whole calf is covered in blood. And I'm like, what the heck? And I, peel it off, and the blood is, hard, different. It was just very weird. And I get to it, and my whole leg's covered in blood, and it's all dried on my leg, and I can't even tell where it's coming from. I was like, geez, I must have got cut or something. So I go in the shower, and I'm rinsing, and this blood is the tackiest, stickiest blood I've ever seen. It's
like sap.
It was not like normal blood. I'm like, this is weird. And then I really working to get it off. I ended up using Fast Orange to get it off.
Like the workers?
Yeah, like the gritty soap stuff. I keep it in the shower up there for after, it's what gets, after we go fishing, you use that. Fast Orange will get the scent of fish off your hands instantaneously. It's incredible stuff. People don't know that. They try everything. If you're out and you're filleting a bunch of fish and you're all disgusting, Fast Orange, boom, you're clean, good to go. A little coconut hand sanitizer after, and you're sitting down and not offending nobody.
That's true.
But anyhow, I get down to a bite, and I see just a little perfect circle, and I'm like, I got bit by a leech. And blood's pouring out. As the water hits it, it's pouring out. Blood's pouring out. And I can't get it to stop in the shower, and I'm getting like angry now because I get it all off of my skin, but it's just pouring out of me and it won't quit. And I know that they do something they inject an anticoagulant, which keeps the blood from clotting normally.
Yeah.
So it keeps it flowing so they can drink their fill. It's like how like big people, like once they give up, they just put their food in a blender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, get it in. How can I get as many calories in as fast as possible?
Is that a fat person thing?
Oh, yeah. You never seen like a fat person? They'll put Ensure and cheeseburgers, and they'll blend it.
Dude,
I'm just kidding.
I'm like, come on, no way.
This can't be a
Yeah,
thing.
no.
Ensure
Ensure and cheeseburgers, dude. How bad would it be? Would you try it? Like if I made an Ensure and
shake
it was, would you want it hot or cold?
cold.
Are you sure with the burger?
Yeah. Because the Ensure is gonna keep it in
Hot or
that
cold?
milkshake state.
I feel like if
No, you can't eat like a chunky something hot. Like imagine drinking.
I don't think I'd want to.
There's nothing like you have never had a hot milkshake.
No.
would.
Or a hot icy. I think that it would tip you the wrong way to drink a smoothie.
I think what you're looking for is hot smoothie.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're looking for.
Have you ever had a hot smoothie?
No, but I think hot
Might
hot icy just ain't working.
It's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Hot icy.
But yeah, anyhow, that's not exactly true, but I could see it being true. I bet though, you know how you get those weird cravings when you're really cold? Like I remember reading an article when I was a kid about these explorers in the Arctic, and they said they would come in. You know what it was actually? They came and spoke at our elementary school, and they were studying polar bears. And when they said that you would come in, and they also participated on the Iditarod, the long distance dog races in the cold, and they said everybody's biggest craving was a stick of butter when you got in, and they would just eat it.
Oh my god.
Because they would lose so many calories and be so cold during the day that they got like crazy cravings for like the most random stuff.
I went to a
And I
county
could
fair
see
and
Ensure and cheeseburgers making it.
right in the blender.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I saw at a fair once
Cold.
they had deep fried butter. I kind of wish I would have tried it, but at the time I was like
deep
disgusted.
fried butter. Why? You just eat it.
I think so.
What is it about butter that gets you like judged? Like if you're at a dinner table and you use a lot of butter, like you feel like you
Yeah,
feel.
you don't like being washed when you take
It's
your
what the
butter.
fats do. They love their
know.
butter.
But I do love my butter.
Oh, dude, you love your butter.
I know.
If you're gonna give him a piece of toast, give him a full stick of butter with it.
It's just so much better. I blame it on my upbringing. My grandma Betty did that to me.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
With your healthy crust Pop-Tarts.
That was really funny. I remember being a kid. He's talking about my sister. We roast her once an episode, so we might as well
Why
get it
not?
out of
It's
the
a
way
trend,
now.
so we gotta
Yeah,
keep it
do it.
going.
I'll never forget. She said this to me,
Teacher of the year.
and this is when I was like, "Man, we weren't that great of people." But she said to me, she goes, "Hey, I was eating Pop-Tarts, and I was not eating the crust." And she's like, "You have to eat that. That's the only healthy part."
It's like the skin on an apple.
Teach,
Don't peel your apples. You gotta eat the skin. That's the healthy part.
yeah, teach me math.
Actually, I don't understand what you mean by that.
The healthiest part is the skin on an apple. That's where all the vitamins and nutrients are.
Right. Oh, so the way you said it made it seem like you were saying it's the same as the Pop-Tart, but what you're doing is being facetious, saying
it's
like, here's an actual example of that crazy
in
thought.
real life.
Yeah.
Like this is where you probably got that idea from.
I remember they used to advertise Pop-Tart commercials, and it was the berry one with the purple and the pink swirls
Yeah,
on it.
wild berry.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was like it was always strawberry until then.
They taste the same.
Yeah.
No.
I think they do.
No, the wild berry one tastes more blueberry-ish than strawberry.
There's like a small difference,
So they don't taste the same.
but you blind test, you think it's strawberry.
I don't know.
It's like a different
like
form
hot
of
fudge
strawberry. You know how
sundae.
like you can have a banana flavored thing
Mm-hmm.
and a banana, and they're not the same.
Right.
And that would be how I would equate what you're saying.
Yeah, I like wild berry more than strawberry.
I don't. I like the sprinkles on strawberry.
Anyone who likes the cinnamon one should
I
be
agree.
dead.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, I tend to like cinnamon things, but not those.
Those are gross.
Anyhow,
You get bit by a leech.
bit by a leech. Oh, geez, if we go down a rabbit hole. So I get bit by a leech, and we get it all the way down, and I get out of the shower, and I can't get it to stop bleeding. It got to the point, 2.5 hours in, I want to go to sleep, and I'm actually mad. So I took like Band-Aids. I put like 3 Band-Aids over it, and then put gauze over the top of those Band-Aids, and then wrapped it with tape. I was like, I'm going to bed. Woke up, bled through all of them.
Nice. You're
Yeah.
like a girl on her period.
Yeah. just like that. I was moody, real upset. I took Pamprin. I don't know why.
What's
you know?
Pamprin?
Pamprin is like something girls take when they're on their menstrual cycle.
Oh, really?
Grow up. You're married.
Yeah, get used to it.
Yeah.
Hey, I can legally talk about sex now.
It was not illegal to talk about sex before.
Well, it's
Within your
it's
guys'
not great for our
group.
podcast. I know that, but it was always legal.
not for me.
You're like, no, she's 16.
I have
No, she's not. She's not. She's
That's a
not.
personal problem.
I have standards.
Yeah. So anyhow, I wrapped it, bled all the way through. It eventually quit bleeding, and it pretty much went away. The little bite mark became like a scab. About 2 weeks later, around it started to get like red, like a small circle around it, like a size of a quarter, we'll say. Just kind of red with a little circle.
Yep.
And then I ignored it, wore pants for a couple days and didn't pay much attention to it or whatever. And then I was getting ready for Jeff's wedding, and Scott's like, bro, Scott is our good friend. He's been on the show, the ice fishing episode from last year, and he's been involved with the show for a while. He's like, hey, he's also an ER nurse, so that helps. Although he's a nurse practitioner now.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, man. And he like looks at it. I'm like, this looks bad. He's like, it's not really hot, but I don't like that it's inflamed now. He's like, you might want to get that checked out if it gets any bigger, especially just keep an eye on it. A few days go by. I had a really busy week that week, and I just didn't have time to deal with whatever that was. And then sure enough, it ended up getting really bad. It grows to be bigger than my fist, I'd say. And red around it, starts to get hot, and then I end up getting a fever, which is not a great sign for
Yeah, I don't remember what caused you to bring back attention to
the
it.
fever.
Okay.
The fever and the fact that it started to like hurt,
And the fact that it covered the entire back of his leg.
and I started to get
Everyone starts panicking.
I know. I started
It
to
didn't
get
look good.
I started to get like pains too, like aches and pains and a fever, and then Roger was scared. He's our doctor friend, was scared that it was in my blood, and then I needed to go to the ER. So I go to the emergency room, and they look at it, and it turned out to be cellulitis, and they were scared it was going to get my blood too. But
not to be confused with cellulite, right?
yeah, cellulite's
that
the
the right-
butter. Cellulite is the butter. Cellulitis is the
Or cellulose.
Cellulose is
that's like something in a beverage.
cellulite is the
Cellulite's
dimples.
fat.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like it.
Cellulitis is I'm 100% on this.
Yeah, no.
It's a really bad form of infection, and if it gets in your blood, it can kill you.
Inflammation of the blood
And it
or cells.
and it pretty much got in my blood. The cellulitis did. Now, luckily, when I went in there, I was like trying to downplay it, and I was like I had put like ice packs on my head. I was drinking tons of cold water. I took a cold bath. I did everything I could to dupe the temperature, and I took ibuprofen even though they're not supposed to. So when I would go in there, they wouldn't think I had a temperature because I was so worried they were going to try and give me a shot. So I like duped it that I was like, no, I don't
The
think
shot is what you didn't want. Not
No,
the,
I
was
not
scared
the
of.
overnight hospital bill.
That's it.
I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing but that shot not happening. I was like, I'm not going to lose my leg. So they end up putting me on like extremely strong
believe
antibiotics.
that that's what you
That doesn't
avoided.
sound worth it at all.
They put me on extremely strong antibiotics, and actually, AJ, play the video from me. I did this as a joke because you ever notice when people like go to the hospital, the ER, they have to make a Facebook post, and they're like, "Here,
Marked safe.
I don't want to,
Yeah.
I don't
Pray
want,
for me.
yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's my favorite. Is like, I don't want to talk about it. Just know I need prayers, and
Yeah.
and they're like in the hospital bed, all messed up.
Prayer
So-
chain.
so I made
Suck it.
I made this video for that. But obviously, like, I need prayers, but I don't want to talk about it. I just need, like, you see where I am. I need prayers, but this is just my post, but I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? I'm just surviving and need your prayers. Like, listen, guys, this is my Facebook post. I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? I'm just obviously laid up, but I don't want to talk about it. But I'm just posting this so you guys know, So, yeah, that was me kind of riffing and making fun of those people. But anyhow,
With good reason.
about 3-4 days later, it started to go down, and then by the end of the week and the end of the antibiotics, it was completely gone, and now there's no markings of it now. But it got me a little freaked out because I thought with leeches, like they used to use them in medical stuff. They would use them for blood, getting blood out of cuts, and they used them for all sorts of medical purposes, wounds, things like that. So they had like a lot of good purpose. And I always thought there's like, yeah, it's freaky, but they're harmless.
It's actually how they used to use leeches they would suck the blood of a healthy person, and then the other unhealthy person would eat the leeches as like a blood transfusion. And then that's how they would get more blood if they had low blood loss.
You're ridiculous. It's like,
you never know.
it's like, go have an
Usually you
Ensure
can
and
tell,
butter
though.
shake. No, I'm just kidding. Now it's butter.
I'm that bad.
Butter
Yeah.
shake. Funny.
With the deep fried butter, was it like sticks?
Yeah.
That's
It's
disgusting.
like a stick of butter?
Yep.
That's awful.
How would it not melt in the deep fryer?
I think it's frozen. It goes in like pretty frozen, and then there's like a cinnamon sugar crust around it.
Oh, that's like everything I love.
Yeah. But like once
Kinda
you get
sounds
into
halfway good.
once you get into the butter part, I feel like the butter is gonna be overwhelming.
Yeah. Says you just want to lick the outside of it
Yeah.
like a
Mhm.
popsicle.
Yep.
Anyhow,
Yeah.
you ended up surviving.
I didn't make it.
I am dead.
And then Kyle's been dead for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
It fades to an empty chair.
Yeah. La da da. No, I am here. I survived it. Just in time to go on a bear hunt.
Yes.
So we ended up going to Maine to hunt bear with Chuck Ainsworth, who's our good buddy. He's a professor in Maine. He's also retired from the military. And he actually teaches a college course, kids, how to hunt, fish, trap, outdoor safety skills, hold guns properly.
It's an actual college course. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
And while we were there, actually, I got to speak to these kids. And they were there setting up tree stands, learning how to set up climbing tree stands and stuff, and interact with some of them. And it was really cool. It was refreshing to see kids that actually knew what our show was, had seen a bunch of episodes of it, were really nice, and they're eager to learn things about the outdoors. And I was like, man, what a college course to get. Is you get friggin' Chuck, and you get it.
Yeah.
You get that, which is
Which he actually proposed that class to the college. And they said, okay, put a lesson plan together, and they accepted it. It's pretty cool.
yeah. Talk about inventing a job.
Yeah.
That made him a professor.
Yeah.
But we ended up being out there for 6 days and never laid eyes on a black bear. Not one.
Not one.
Not one.
Other than trail cam pictures.
So I can say that because,
So
yeah.
not-
Well, what sucks is, Chuck has about 500-600 acres, whatever it is, and there's different stands in different areas and different baits and different, everything. And we have trail cams at different ones and, like, different options. Like, a lot of times it was between these two stands, and we would pick one, and the bears would go to the other.
Yeah.
And it happened on 3 occasions while we were there. If we would have made the other choice, we would have ended up in front of one.
It was so annoying.
It was
We
pretty
get
annoying.
back, and he'd show us pictures. Here.
Yeah, they shot
You could
a
have been
You
here.
should have been here yesterday.
they shot a black bear the day after we left out of one of the stands.
Yep. Yeah. Just, it was, and it just sucks because, like, money goes into these trips. Like, it's work, like, people call it vacation, and it's work. So money goes into these trips, and then you just walk away probably a little extra bummed than you normally would
Right.
because of everything that went into it.
Yeah, it's a lot of driving.
Then, more than your standard person. Like, a person might walk away from, yeah, I didn't get anything. But, like, us, it's pretty,
Detrimental. It's
yeah,
like
it's a big deal.
we lost the money and we have to figure out a new option to fill the missing episode.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a bite and
Yeah.
a keister. Yeah, it
But-
hurts. It
Yeah.
hurts. But even so, we're obviously, it's like a fine line, right? Because we're super appreciative and super excited that we get to go hunt and fish for a living. But there is like a level of added pressure that, like, nothing compared to like our ancestors were like, if they didn't succeed,
They
they
actually die.
yeah. Like for us though, like you miss enough episodes,
You don't get paid.
you don't get paid
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, but also it's not about that. It's not about the success of it either. It's about the hunt still. But then it's also like, well, you do need to succeed though.
Right.
It's like enjoy the moment, but you need to work hard.
Yeah, there's a lot
you
of
know?
different aspects of it.
I think the way that I've kind of decided to think about it is like if we work really, really hard, then we'll succeed enough to make it good so that we can always live in the moment. Like,
Yeah.
like if we work really, really hard, we'll always have enough success to make the show. And then that means we can always live in the moment working hard. That's like the only way to really look at it.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'd be focusing on a lot of failures.
Sure was a 21-hour drive, though, wasn't it, AJ?
Yes, it was.
Sure was each way. Yeah.
And that was rough for me.
You laid in the back seat sleeping the entire time. You had a full bed back there.
Hey, AJ wanted to take over after the other on the way back
It's true.
because he didn't want to do the other drive.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I don't think AJ will risk his life letting Jeffrey drive. So I think AJ will step up for me on this trip.
Yeah. I'll attempt.
Yeah. I'll do the crazy dirt road where we're for sure to lose a tire.
No
but,
question.
On the Razor Rock.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then for upcoming hunts, well, I guess, hold on, before we move on, one thing we did get to see on the bear hunt that we got to live in the moment on was we got to see, I was like, what in God's name is that? And I woke you guys up because you're both sound asleep. AJ's screaming in his sleep for no reason.
Yeah.
And night terrors.
AJ was sitting there like his dog does.
He's like this. He's like this in his chair.
Yeah, and then he has bad, like AJ was having bad dreams and he's going.
He's like
and then
shaking.
He goes, no. And then I'm like, dude. He's like, man, I was getting attacked by a panther.
In my dream, I was screaming. Like, I could hear the regular scream in the dream, and then I wake up and I'm in the blind.
And we're all looking at you like, bro.
Yeah.
What's weird though is it didn't happen once.
Mm-mm.
Like the next day,
It was
you had
only in Maine.
and the next day you had like a
It's
night
the
terror,
Amish
or,
vibes.
I
It's
guess
the Amish vibes.
day terror, whatever
yeah.
that is, blind terror.
Cock terror.
But anyhow, we saw this interesting animal.
Yeah, so I'm like, what on earth is that? Wake you screamers up. And it was a fisher.
Which I'd never heard before. Till
Yeah,
that day.
and I had to Google it.
Right.
I
I thought it was a Wolverine.
And I mean, just in a little bit of light research on the reason why I found out that it was a fisher was I started researching all the pictures and stuff, and I was like, look at that. I immediately knew it was something in the weasel family looking at it. And what I thought was cool about it was like there was a bunch of birds and squirrels in the bait, and then when he came in, they all were like, see ya. They were gone. And a little bit of research I found is they are some aggressive critters.
Yeah, so I've put together a little worksheet of info about them.
Look at you.
They're fishers are part of the mustelid family, so like cervids, or whatever you can think of, which includes weasels, badgers, otters, ferrets, minks, wolverines. However, they're most closely related to the American marten, which are like they're kind of minky looking, like mongoosey type characters, like but they run around in the trees.
Yeah.
Um,
Remember that show, Martin? Remember?
Yeah, Lawrence.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know that one.
That's before you.
So anyhow,
Yeah.
they're extremely common on the East Coast, but one of the rarest carnivores on the West Coast. So extremely common on East Coast, one of the rarest carnivores on the West Coast. Just, I guess they can't
You
succeed
won't see
very
'em
well
there.
there. The males are larger, and they weigh between 8 to 13 pounds. So I don't think that guy was nearly quite as big as we thought he was, because when we were looking at him, he looked big.
He looked big.
But I think it was just our depth perception. It was hard to judge the sizes of things.
Yeah.
I put him at like 15 to 20 pounds.
The largest one ever recorded was 20.
That's him.
You saw it.
Should have seen the squirrel I saw at one time.
Yeah, so I think it was our depth perception might have been messing with us a little bit.
I believe that.
They prefer porcupines and snowshoe rabbits for dinner, but supplement with nuts and berries and mushrooms.
I saw him eat
a
lot of nuts.
They like getting their buzz on with the mushrooms.
For sure.
I also saw him eat a donut because we were bear hunting.
Yeah, he was eating up. He was getting fat and sassy. So female gestation is only 50 days. So to carry out a litter, it's only 50 days, which is super short.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even 2 months.
You know, they're trying to abort him at 40, though.
Yeah.
Probably too far.
So the furs. The furs has an interesting aspect. Between 1920 and 1930, furs were roughly $100 per pelt.
Whoa!
Yeah, which is that's
in like today's money or back then 100.
Based on what I understand, it was back then $100.
Wow.
So that's really expensive. In 1936, pelts were being sold in New York City for between $450 to $750 per pelt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Should have got
Was the
that.
sucker in season? I was using a 300 Winchester short mag. I think that might have been a little much.
In 1999, 16,600 pelts were sold for $450,000, averaging around $27 per pelt. So the prices dropped off quite a bit. No one wears real fur anymore.
No, they don't.
So it makes sense. Back in the 30s, it was a sign of wealth.
Oh, okay.
So it makes sense that that's the way it worked out. After the 1970s, trapping for fishers became much more protected. So the laws really became much more strict on them. So that's another reason that it's just not as common. So that's about what I have on fishers.
That's kind of neat.
Part of the mustelid family.
Cool.
If you take anything away.
Earlier when he said the cervid thing, he was talking about he was trying to explain something similar. Cervids would be like all hoofed animals, like your deer, your elk, like that grouping.
Moose, yeah.
So that was how he was describing the grouping for those of you who might have been confused why he threw cervid out there. That said, I think that it was such a cool looking thing that I only got to see for about 40 seconds. But
Chuck was saying they do have the personality of a wolverine though. Do not mess with them. They'll
mess you up.
Yeah, it'd be bad if you got tied up with one.
I was watching a video the other day of a few, it might have been lions. There was 3 or 4 of them, and there was a honey badger just going at him.
Honey badgers are crazy.
And they were all freaked out by him. And it just goes to show you though, if you're you don't got to be that big, but if you're just psycho, people don't want to mess with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Just go nuts.
Loud enough, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Trust isn't built in a day. It's built over time. The early hours and the late nights. It's built by doing the work and pushing the limits every day. Because the promises we make are the promises we were built to keep.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Motor Trend's Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. And by Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. And by these other fine sponsors.
I know some people that are willing to mess with somebody though. There was these guys. And a lot of you have probably heard it if you're in the industry, but if you haven't, I'm going to just talk about the story real quick. On the way to Maine, we are actually seeing this progress where it was was it you who saw it first, Ryan? You like a Snapchat?
Oh, yeah.
You saw it on Snapchat.
Yep.
Or not Snapchat,
TikTok.
And it was just like a local fishing, somebody, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we watched it progress over a 3 or 4 day period to CNN and Fox News and all these huge outlets.
Everyone was covering it.
So basically what happened, and I'll give you a little bit of a background. There's a walleye fishing group that they do different fishing competitions, and there's kind of the local circuit, which is pretty big, and then there's the grand old circuit, which is competitive, top tier prizes. But even in the lower end, the winners are getting 20 to 30 grand for first place, and sometimes a boat, $50,000-$60,000 boat.
Yeah. And big money involved.
Sure. And basically what these guys go out and do is they walleye fish, and this one was on Lake Erie. These teams go out and walleye fish. They've got X amount of time. They catch fish. They bring them in, and then the best 5 fish wins, meaning you catch the 5 biggest walleye you can possibly get, and you bring them in, you get weighed, and whoever has the highest weight wins. It's not that complicated.
So the net weight of those 5 is what wins based on every group.
Yep. So that is kind of how that works. And these guys were going out. There was a bunch of teams there, so this grand prize was somewhere around the 30 grand mark. Guys go out, and they've won boats in the past, and they kind of came on the scene recently, in the last couple of years. And they just started winning nonstop and killing everybody. And there was a lot of speculation that they were cheating in some way, shape, or form, and people were kind of onto them. And they really, really started to get onto them, and yet these guys didn't quit. So they went out, and what they did was they brought them in for weighing, and if you look at the 5 fish, they were not significantly bigger. In some cases, they even look smaller than some of the other competitors. But then they weighed them, and they were like way, way heavier than anyone else's fish. And they're like, there's no way that fish weighs 7 pounds. That's a 3 or 4 pound fish. Like, no way. And like when you're walleye, like when you fish all the time, you know what stuff weighs. Like, you know, it's like with anything, you get accustomed to it. So you've got all these semi-pro to really good amateur fishermen out there going, whoa, 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 whoa. Like that is not a 7 pound fish. They weigh them, and the guy that ran it, you know, in his defense, like, you have to be kind of careful. You can't just start accusing people of stuff.
That'd be rough.
But when he felt the fish, he felt something hard in their stomachs. And to his credit, he grabbed a knife and cut them right open. And when he opened it, he found inside were like fish fillets from other fish. And what these guys did was they were wrapping lead balls, like wet lead sinkers, in the fish fillets and then stuffing them down the fish's throat, which is messed up, putting it in their stomach so that the fish would weigh more. So when they cut them open and they found all these, boy, there was a guy standing there. One of the guys was just standing there, and everybody went bonkers. They were like, we're going to kill you. We're going to.
Yeah, they went crazy.
Yeah, they're like,
That was their dream, to catch somebody.
Yeah.
You
well,
could
not only
tell.
that, like,
Well, they all were onto it.
Mhm.
Like, they're like, dude, this isn't right, and have been that way.
and you know, in their defense, though, that's stealing.
Yep.
And they're like, we want our money back. We want our money back. We want our money back, because it's not just this tournament, it's all the others now. And that's the thing, too.
Yeah.
You know, you do one thing wrong, and then it's like, well, what is about all the other stuff? They've gotten boats, and, you know, everybody that was in second place every time now for all those tournaments feels like they got stolen from, and they probably did.
Yeah.
So,
They'll only be able to charge them with this one, though. That's the only one
Right.
they have proof of.
but here's the thing. They're throwing the book at him. So they arrested him, everything like that. What it becomes is, though, is
Grand theft.
yeah, because it's a boat. Like, they were going to win a boat.
Well, and the money.
And the money. So that is because they're lying. That's stealing. So I think they threw 4 things at him.
Like, bad things, too.
Yeah.
Felonies?
Like jail time.
Really?
Yeah, it's not good. Like,
Yeah.
this is. And also, let's talk about cheating here. Like, in school, if the answers ever got out to a test, no one was sitting there writing down all the correct 100% correct answers. They would get some accurate to
Right.
like, oh, I usually get a B.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give myself a B on this test, so it seems reasonable. These guys were like, win. After, like, it just doesn't seem right. So, cheat better.
Yeah, exactly. And from the clips I saw, the guy that's just getting scolded is just sitting there like, all right, this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah, he was just taking it.
one of the people you could hear yell. He's like, "Well, I hope you know your life's over now."
It is.
You know. So the here's the other thing is they got him with the unlawful ownership of wild animals charge pertains to the pair's possession of fish fillets on their boat. If convicted on that count, both could have their fishing license suspended indefinitely. 5th-degree felonies, including the charges of possessing criminal tools, attempted grand theft, and cheating, are punishable by up to 12 months in prison and up to $2,500 in fines. 4th-degree misdemeanors, including the unlawful ownership of wild animals charge, are punishable by up to 30 days in jail and up to $250 in fines. I don't see how they get out of this without jail time.
Yeah, I bet like they might get like 3 months in jail or something.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think they'll get the max
It's
because no one
tough
ever
though.
does.
It's tough though because they'll likely only be able to prove it for this scenario, and they didn't.
That's all they needed, though, it seems.
Well, it's only an attempt, so they attempted to do this. They didn't walk away with anything, and they can't prove it for any of the other instances,
Right.
unless there's something out there, like unless they have like videos on their phones of them doing it.
I feel like a big fine is how you're really gonna give it to them.
Yeah.
I bet you see the DNR work towards getting their licenses taken away, though,
That probably will happen. Yeah.
which is that's an awful punishment in itself.
They also had their fishing boat seized.
Good.
So, yeah, that's
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
don't be a shitty person.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
that's so like.
how do you do that and not think how this isn't fair to everyone else?
Well, they're not thinking that.
I know, but that's what I would
Like,
think.
what kind of person? Like, what kind of person are you to just be like that? That's like going to a golf tournament and using one of those balls that like you can control it from your
Right,
phone and it
right.
rolls.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just, it's
Yeah,
sad.
it's not
And
cool.
it makes you feel really bad for the other guys and that like a lot of that's what they do. That's how they make money,
Right,
and it's all been taken from them.
right. No, I feel bad for all the second place winners, to be honest with you.
Right.
For once, they're not the first of the losers. Well, I guess they still. Speaking of the biggest losers, I started the 28-day reboot.
Good. That's a good transition.
Thank you. The 28-day reboot. So last episode 94, we had Kevin Guillen of Wilderness Athlete, who's one of our partners on the podcast, and we discussed Wilderness Athlete supplements and products. For those of you who don't know, you should go check that out. They make extremely high quality products that I actually feel comfortable taking. And they had something called the 28-day reboot program. And if you go to the site, you can kind of see what it is, and it goes with the diet. And one of the keys to it was giving up sugar, pretty much. And I decided to pair that with caffeine, which might not, in retrospect, not my greatest move. So I paired giving up sugar, cold turkey, with also giving up caffeine, cold turkey. And man, the first I did it started Sunday afternoon.
Well, also for reference, you drink like 400 milligrams of
300.
300 milligrams. That's still a lot.
I drank 300 milligrams of caffeine a day, and it was getting to the point where that wasn't even impacting me.
No.
Which is not good. A Bang has 300 if you're looking.
I thought it was 4.
Nope, 3. I know my milligrams. That's the problem. So anyhow, I got to the point where I was addicted to it, and if I didn't get it, I would get a headache and that sort of thing. And everyone was razzing me, saying like, "You gotta have, Kyle's gotta have his energy drinks and this and that." And it really got to me where I was like, I don't need anything, I don't need anyone, and I will not be controlled by this crutch. So I ended up going cold turkey on it Monday. I was a little cranky, like I felt like tired and sluggish and kind of cranky.
Sense.
Tuesday, I was like, during the day. Tuesday night, I got a bad migraine that came on pretty strong. I was doing all the supplements and eating healthy and working out. And then I went to bed Tuesday night. I'm like, I just got to go to bed and I'll wake up and it'll be gone. Because, you escape a headache that way. Woke up Wednesday morning. It was waiting for me. I threw up 4 or 5 times from Tuesday to Wednesday. Just terrible. But I'm like, I'm not giving in. So I held strong all the way through. By the time Friday came along, I was okay again. But it was really rough withdrawals.
Did you kind of had taken on some caffeine though, right? Just to like not necessarily be cold turkey, but just to get a little bit.
Not till Thursday.
Yeah.
Not till Thursday. Yeah, and
I can't imagine doing that.
I took
sugar too.
And what I took on, I think, was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50 milligrams, which would be that's a half. That's a half of actual cup of coffee. Right. Not like a cup like you hold, but like you get a measuring spoon out of, or a measuring cup out of like one cup. It would be half of that. That's it. I took that on, and then since then now, I've kept it under 90 every day. Is what I've been doing.
Which is reasonable.
Yeah, which is fine. And I feel much better. Something I heard on caffeine.
They just make them taste so good, with the caffeine drinks. That's my thing.
Dude, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I look forward to it. I miss it deeply. But I've gotten through, and now I'm on the other side. And like I said, I've limited myself to 90. And I've also read that, like, with caffeine, that like the way that it works, and this is something I'm just learning too, is if you wait 2 hours, Joe Flanagan, our lawyer, actually taught me this. He said that if you wait 2 hours from after the time you wake up before you consume any caffeine, there will be no crash. Because caffeine is like some sort of inhibitor that if you slam that system first thing in the morning and your body doesn't wake up naturally on its own, then it will rely on that caffeine. Kind of like when someone takes steroids. Steroids, they take testosterone, right? So then the body quits making testosterone because it's like, oh, we got it. It's the same thing with like wake up juice. So if you don't,
interesting.
If you wait 2 hours, so I implemented that and went down to 90, and I feel fantastic now.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, and I'm way healthier for it. So that's in other than that, the exercise, I feel strong, I feel good. My shoulder's finally healed from last November 14th when I ripped it out of the socket and then re-injured it shooting that turkey gun. I feel good, and the 28-day reboot is going well for me. So it's a rough few days if you're going to be giving up sugar. Maybe don't give up caffeine at the same time. I actually read that afterwards I read that's dangerous, so maybe don't do both. But I'm glad to be on the other side of it now and I'll keep
I
updating
think,
you guys as it goes.
I think, like if you're an alcoholic, I think that's the only
It can kill you.
addiction that you can actually die from.
Yep.
Is going through
Alcoholism?
withdrawal from alcohol,
yeah.
which is scary.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm really addicted.
Yeah.
I got a problem, guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
just
avoid
kidding.
that.
You know the weirdest thing about alcohol too is everyone knows this fact, and I'm not saying anything anyone doesn't know, but it's really fascinating. The hangover is withdrawals. Like you have withdrawals that fast.
Yeah.
I thought it was depletion of nutrients.
Nope.
There's
it's
some
withdrawals.
evidence now to point towards it's actually withdrawal from alcohol.
Really?
That's why if you just keep drinking, you never get a hangover.
Not weird.
Yeah, just 24/7.
4 years later. No, I'm just kidding. Now, an exciting hunt that we have coming up is we're going to Maine again to meet up with Chuck again, hopefully with better luck with moose. Although I'm being told that my bear tag that I didn't get to fill is still good, and that there's not a great chance I'll see a black bear, but there is a chance. So I could still use that tag.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Yeah. Well,
Figuratively and literally.
Nice.
Right. So that'll be nice to carry my gun with. We got the super rare tag. We've talked about it on the podcast before, so I won't go into too great of details, but we're going to Maine. We got this incredibly rare tag, and the tag is for a cow, moose, in a specific zone that has problems with winter ticks. And it's like a research hunt. So we'll be able to shoot a cow, moose, consume the meat, and then we have to give the ovaries and I think 1 or 2 other organs over to the DNR so that they can assess what's going on and help the populations bounce back. And that's kind of the story with it. Unfortunately, Ryan won't be able to go because he'll be on his honeymoon. But one of the things I was thinking about is like, man, we are going to be off the grid. So we go to this one town, and then once we go out of that town, we go down 2-track roads for 3 to 4 hours from the closest town of civilization. So we're going to be, luckily we'll have 2 satellite inReaches to be able to communicate with back home. But we are going off the grid, like 4 hours from any town whatsoever. Now that's exciting, but at the same time it had me thinking like camp supplies. And so today we were running tests. We were testing. We have the Ram truck with the 115 volt outlet. We were making sure that could power the
computer, essentially.
The computer and the hard drives. In order to back up footage, would we be able to run the truck to do that? We're going to need to take a lot of gasoline out because you drive for 4 hours and you could use up 3/4 of a
Especially
tank.
if you're driving slow. Driving slow doesn't help.
No, you'll suck that gas right down.
Yeah. And bringing a trailer.
Right.
Fully loaded trailer.
Fully loaded trailer.
So.
And he said one of the things that we had to be prepared for too was bring full-size tires because one of us will pop a tire is what he said, guaranteed.
I hate that.
I hate that too.
I hate that too.
That sounds awful.
Yes. So we have to have for our trailer as well as
why only one tire? If it's gonna happen, why isn't all of them? You know.
Buddy. But yeah, hopefully that does not happen, or if it does, it's on Chuck's. But but it's 2 to 4 hours down this dirt road to the middle of nowhere, and we're going to camp. And it got me thinking, like, aside from the spare tires, I'm like, what other weird things do we need that, like, you can't think of? Because, like, while we're going to be roughing it, I also don't want my team to be miserable. So Cabela sent us this giant tent that has, like, a fireplace in it and stuff like that. That's just incredible. And they gave us all cots, and they gave us all bed, like, cushion cot topper things.
Oh, yeah.
They gave us all sleeping bags, and they gave us a commode, which is for those of you who don't know, is a crapper, but it looks like a normal chair. It's got a drink holder, so I am gonna get comfortable
For the fats.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in there with my inReach and
Make some calls.
You're like, Kyle, did you download Snake onto the inReach and then burn the batteries for the week? I don't think that's what I did. But yeah, and I was like, well, okay, where are we gonna use the commode? So then I was like looking up and I found out they have like these privacy tent things. So I was like, okay, we got to get that. I'm like, well, where's the poop go? And I was like, well, you could put like a grocery bag. I'm like, but that's not, you don't want to,
No.
what are you going to do with a grocery bag? So then I Googled, and this is like a weird thing. And this is like a weird checklist, I guess, is all I'm talking about is like the weird things I thought of.
Your idea behind this, I'll follow up. Yeah.
You think
You
I'm
go-
an idiot?
No, I wouldn't say idiot. It is strange to me though.
I'm just trying to make it so everybody's comfortable. Like because we got people going with us probably that have never gone with us before, and I'm trying to not make it a miserable experience. But they have these biodegradable bags that like you hook up to your commode, you crap into the bag, and then wipe or whatever, and then you wrap up the bag, and then you can bury it, and it's biodegradable, and everything goes back to the planet, and you're good to go. And that way, everyone doesn't have to feel like they're all, I don't know, like.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Like, you like it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's with me. What do you got to say
So
about my commode?
when you're saying commode, is it just a chair with a hole in it?
Yes.
So you're
Yeah, but it's nice. Like, this is
It's got a frame.
no, in its simplest form, that's what it is.
yeah,
And just so you're.
but it's an actual toilet seat. Just
Okay.
leads nowhere.
You sit on it and you shit through it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically. So the idea behind your bag theory, you are now handling your shit more than you would ever have to if you would just dig a hole
Yeah.
and set the chair over the top of it.
Yeah.
And then cover
I
it
like
up.
I like that idea better. The bagging thing seems weird.
Yeah, you want to sit over, like, I leave and you're like, there's Kyle's poop, and I'll just sit over that.
That's a
and
you thing.
sit in the stink.
Dig a new hole.
Yeah, you bury it.
But this is the whole thing is you have like a tent thing. That's I
Are
get
you
what you're
pooping
saying.
in the tent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my,
You're
no,
making
no,
a bathroom.
No,
I made a bathroom for us.
No, you don't poop in the tent. You go outside.
No, I got us a tent
separate
for
tent.
pooping.
Yeah.
There's a floor on it?
No, it's made for poop. It's made for this. It's called a commode.
It's a privacy tent.
Yeah, it's a commode privacy tent with no floor.
I think if it were me,
Yeah.
I'm not going on the trip, so it doesn't matter. I don't got to
Yeah.
deal with this poop
Just
situation.
walk, a quarter mile and do your thing.
I ordered the bags and you're using them.
Even then, if it were me, I would just dig a 2 foot hole deep,
Yep.
2 foot deep hole, and just that's the hole for the week. And maybe after your poop, you put a little dirt over the top of it just to blanket it.
That's not a bad
I
idea.
don't, yeah.
Because
I'm not-
the
don't like-
bag thing is like, I don't want to handle my poop.
No.
I just want it to be done.
right.
I always handle mine though.
So that's no problem for
I
me.
reach back and look.
I'm always
Yeah,
doing.
you got to make sure you're healthy.
Yeah.
I'm always doing finger paints.
Yeah. You know, like when we go duck hunting and I got the eye black on and everyone was complaining about the smell.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I bought the bags and I'm not sorry.
Yeah. What's happening?
And then for the
have fun handling your
the
poop.
other thing is I bought, and this is a special
This one was cool.
a special little treat for us. I shower a lot. For those of you who don't know, you probably do. It's talked about quite often. I like to be clean. So I bought us a hot water thing to go to our campsite, and it's like it runs off propane.
The Dunham's tanks, or a bigger one, like a grill one.
No, it's like its own.
He's asking what size the tanks are.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, like
Can you use the
yeah,
tanks that
yeah.
we get at Dunham's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's talking about the 1 liter
Yeah.
small green Coleman
Yep.
propanes. Yes. So you screw that into the back, and it heats the water up to 125 degrees, and it holds like 5 gallons or something like that. So I bought it because we can get those big 5-gallon jugs of water and fill that sucker up. Now you're not showering and I bought another tent for that. That has a rain cover.
There's gonna be a whole city by the time you guys are done.
Yeah.
I know. And
But taking it all down too.
but you're spraying yourself down, like you're getting wet, putting soap on, and then rinsing it off. It's not a pleasant shower, but it's not freezing cold either, which is something. So we'll have to make sure Jeffrey bathes.
Yeah, those like solar.
Yeah, that was the main thing.
Yeah,
like,
this is fun.
you better be in there.
Those like solar tent or solar bag showers. Just the worst. I have used them and they never get hot. And if it's hot enough out for it to get hot, you don't want your water to be hot.
No.
You're like
Right,
You're
right,
asking
right.
for the opposite.
Right.
So that was probably a pretty good investment. That little guy.
Well, the thing is too, like when we invest in anything, it's like we can use it 100 times. Like most people, they're like, I'm only going once. I'm not going to buy that for this. But for us, it's like we'll use that 4 more times this year.
Yeah,
Easily.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the benefit of it. Granted, we have no more room in our garage
Honestly,
or basement.
with
but
all our friends that go hunting, we could rent it to them and make money off of it.
yeah, it was $279. I bet we could rent it for $100 a pop.
Yeah, you know how? I bet people would kill for that thing.
The tent was more than that.
What's that?
The big one is more than that.
The
270.
tent. Oh, the tent we got for
Yeah.
free?
Yeah.
from Cabela's.
Yeah.
It's
What are you
17.
we're talking about a hot water heater.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about renting out the tent.
No,
Oh,
I don't
no,
want.
no,
I don't want
no,
anyone
no.
in our tent. Plus,
No.
that tent was $1,800.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah,
Nobody's
no.
touching that.
I am pretty bummed I don't get to experience all this.
We will miss you when there's an
with
issue.
the poop bags and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna bag it up for everyone. I was gonna be everybody's bagger.
He's everybody. He's holding
I hold it. Yeah,
He's doing
I know.
the
He's like, no,
scene.
trust me, guys. This is how it works.
He's doing the scene from
Come
Martian.
on, come on in, Papa Squat.
I'm ready for you.
Yeah.
I am excited about the trip though, and I'm excited to hopefully get one heck of a moose.
Yeah.
You know, because the meat will be fantastic, and I think it's gonna be real special. So
This is gonna be a cool one.
Mm-hmm.
as long as we get one.
Yeah.
one of the things Chuck was talking about too was food, and he said that there's so many grouse there. He feels comfortable, or he's been saying partridge, but I think they're grouse. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
there's so
know.
many upland game birds there that he is 100% positive we could plan a meal around it.
Oh wow,
So
that's pretty
this
impressive.
might be a little addition to the
because
the hunt.
there will be 5 people at the most,
Right.
right? So yeah, if you shot 3 birds, should all be good if you have some sides.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Renegades with me
Yeah,
and
and some potatoes.
potatoes. Yeah, we're in the
Potatoes in your ears.
the town 4 hours before we're gonna go stay there, and he said the last night we could pack up. The last day we'll pack up everything and stay our last night in town at a hotel. I was like,
Oh,
yes,
thank
that sounds
goodness.
great. So the night before we go out, we're staying in a hotel, and the night after. So realistically, it'd only be like 4 nights out there,
When
Right.
when you guys
which is 8 showers for Jeffrey. Jeffrey, 8 showers.
when you're bringing up the flat tire situation, I'm thinking about it, and if you're on 2 tracks, the ground's not going to be solid, so you should bring a piece of a board,
Oh, to get unstuck.
like OSB. No, if you get a flat tire, because you need
Oh,
a
to
solid
jack.
surface to
Oh.
jack up from. Put that under there and bring a jack, because the jacks that come with the trucks are just
Not real.
They'll just break through the ground.
Yeah, they're
Or
they're like a little poker.
Or you could use like a thin cylinder or cinder block.
yeah, that too.
That's what I was told. I have one of those.
Those work too. But yeah, definitely. I like if Chuck's not bringing a jack, you guys need to.
Yep.
That will
Add it to the list.
ooh. That is going to be a rough scenario if you guys get a flat tire and don't have any of that stuff.
The amount of stuff we need is obscene.
And
It's because we're filming. If it's just me, you could just take a backpack.
yeah,
Exactly.
100%. The filming brings an entirely new aspect to the whole thing.
It's like I'm not trying to glamp, but I have to make sure that everyone's taken care of too. And there's a lot of cooking that has to be done, a lot of mouths to feed.
Oh yeah.
You know,
A lot of meals.
there's a lot of mouths to feed, Your Highness.
Oh, yeah.
Men in
Good
Black. All 78 million of them. That's from Men in Black when he's climbing up on the spacecraft thing. On that note, now that
Yep.
we finally got our Men in Black quote in, and I'm
Had to do it.
free to go in and end the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this one. Check out the video we were talking about for the how to find a good location to fish on our YouTube or Carbon channel. Also, go to our outdoor education series where we have a bunch of how-to videos and encyclopedia. You can find them on our website, thegreenwayoutdoors.com. We try to have podcasts here every week. We're going to be gone next week, but the following week we'll be right back in action here with you to update you on how great the hunt went and how amazing it was and how Ryan might as well kill himself because he didn't go.
Right.
And
While I'm drinking pina
Tai.
coladas on the beach.
And also, there's a few episodes you can watch right now if you go to the Greenway Outdoors YouTube channel. Full actual episodes of our TV show. Check that out. Thanks so much for tuning in, and stay green.